in a short while. But in the meantime, let's get started. So we are here today. Welcome and thank you for giving up your Friday afternoon for the next hour to talk about increasing productivity when your business morale is low. So for those of you who haven't done a webinar with me before, I like to be really interactive, and the webinars are not as conducive for being as interactive as we would do if you were on, say, on a Zoom call. So we're going to do our best, and basically we're going to leave you unmuted if you want to be unmuted, and the more that you jump in, Cal and Marta, the better it'll be. But you can also, if for any reason, if you've got substantial noise in the background and you want to stay on mute, you can communicate, or you just don't feel like speaking for any reason. That's the beauty of these. You can communicate on the chat bar, which is located down the bottom of your menu. If you go to participants or more, you can see, I think it's the three little dots, you can chat. So there's some options there, and I'll be requesting your interaction. Great, thank you. Thanks, Marta. I'll be requesting your interaction as we go throughout the day, because the more you interact, the more you're going to get out of it. And we are here to talk about your business today. So we want to be able to tailor the information as much to what the challenges are that you're dealing with. So a little bit about me. My name is Claire Maradani, and I'm the Managing Director for Treeti Business Consulting, which is a national organisation. We do business coaching, leadership coaching, infrastructure for growth for businesses. What that means is that we go into small businesses and put in all different layers of systems and processes, not digital ones, but actually support you around recruitment and HR, and physically write your standard operating procedures if need be. So there's a whole layer of things that we do. I have a staff of 10 full-time staff located all around Australia. The majority of them are in Darwin, where our head office is in Berrima. And if you want to have a quick look, it's treeti.com.au, the website. And we also have about 26 digital consultants, and last year we won the NT Digital Business of the Year. So I'm here today with Jack. And Jack, you want to give everyone a wave? There's Jack. Jack's helping me on production, and they call me the accidental digital entrepreneur because I'm not that good at digital. My strengths lie elsewhere. My contribution to the organisation lies elsewhere. Hi, Carol. Thanks for joining us today. We're just doing introduction, saying that my name's Claire, and encourage you to interact. And Jack is supporting me today on production. Okay, let's have a look at what we're going to dive into now. By getting better at managing your own time, delegating responsibility, and effectively prioritising your work around daily plan, you can both increase your productivity and morale in your business, and even work alone, even when you're working alone. And I'll say a little bit more about that, because a lot of our customers on these webinars are independent contractors, or due to COVID, you're working alone at home, and there's some really cool tips and tricks that you can do to help increase your productivity, regardless if you're in the team or working alone. So mastering your daily tasks when they're laid out in a logical, achievable way can unlock better time management and leave you with plenty of room to capture opportunities, or as it says here, the room for the unexpected. Today we're going to cover what is state management, how to achieve better productivity, and is time management a good idea, how to delegate effectively, and my 10 top tips. So it'd be great if you could, Jack, take everyone off mute, and if you could just tell me, please, what your name is, where, and if you can't speak for any reason, you can go into the chat bar. So either form of communication is perfectly okay. If you can tell me, please, what your name is, what state you're in, and what your business is, that would be great. Who'd like to go first? Can you unmute everyone, Jack? Give them the opportunity.
All right, everyone. everyone should have seen a pop up on their screen to unmute if you'd like to unmute.
Oh, I can do it from here. Unmute, unmute, unmute. Okay. So who would like to go first? And you can type in the chat, or you can just call out, take yourself off unmute and call out what your business is and what state you're in, and yeah, what your name is. Okay, Cal, do you want to go first? Do you want to type into the chat box?
We have Marta answer.
Okay, Marta, great, thank you. Okay, it's not ready for me. Can you read out the answers for me? Oh no, here we go.
Sure.
Okay, your business, Marta, your business is architectural design and consultancy. Welcome to the call today, and for highly sustainable sustainable, energy efficient and healthy homes. Wow, what a cool way to spend your life working on those things. Carol, you're from Toowoomba in Queensland, and RHD Integration Services, which is CCTV cabling, security mode, mobile boosting and IoT. Well, Carolyn, I would say that Jack will be handy to have on the call because he's our IT specialist. So although we are talking about soft skills today, it's good that we'll have someone on the call that'll understand your language as well. CCTV, and we have Carol from WA. You're from WA and you've got a health and wellness business. So health and wellness. That's great, because when I'm giving examples, we can tap into those 3 businesses and be able to make that as relative as possible for everyone. Okay, let's dive in, shall we? Increasing productivity when morale is low. So basically, we're going to start with a little bit of theory. So Marta, you've been running for 5 years, but Passive House is only past year or so now at the stage to set up systems and processes, and you need help with, processes and systems to help with cash flow. Awesome, great. Oh, it's my favourite thing in the world to talk to small business owners. So you're in the right place here today. And I'll give you as much as the information as I possibly can to help you with in this particular area and any other area that you want to check in. I've been a business coach for 15 years, and we've got lots of free tips and tricks that we can impart with you today, or any time actually that you're needing a bit of support. Okay, so a little bit about state management. So state management is the #1 technique that we use in leadership programs around Australia. So we run award-winning leadership programs to organisations such as Careflight, Westpac, CommBank, and medium to large businesses and small businesses who just want to improve their productivity. So basically how we do that is through state management. It's a tool, as if anyone has heard of Anthony Robbins, his whole global empire is built on the NLP module called state management, and there's 13 elements to state management. He engages in just 1. So that's how much of a big subject it is. So we're going to dive into this brain science conversation now. So life happens, and over in the top left-hand corner, you've got your focus, your map of reality, your model of the world, or your perception. So for all human beings, we've put all the different names up there that people can use, and it all means the same thing. I tend to use the word focus because in business, it makes sense if we say we're talking about your focus. Where is your focus? And your focus or your map of reality or your model of the world or your perception on things come from three particular time frames, and that is a certain particular interaction that happens with our brain. So the past, the present and the future, our brains operate in a linear fashion. In the past, the present and the future. Oh, Karen just joined us too. Karen, can you just type in for me where you are from and what your business is and what state you live in? That would be great. Well, we're talking a little bit about the concept of state management. So life happens and our brains process it through what we call in our frontal lobe the reticular activating system behind our frontal lobe. And it's like Google, where it types in questions with things that are happening to you, and our brains are very clever and disseminates it into 3 time zones, past, present and future, and we filter all of these bits of information per second, about 2 billion bits per second. And basically what happens is it determines our state. So I'm giving you a very top line version today. Our state is basically determined by 3 things: emotional, mental and physical. So that's when it's made up of 3 things. So when we talk about state, we're talking about your emotional state, your mental state and your physical state. So there's a leadership distinction called peak performance equals peak state. And basically we are always in this type of work trying to get you into peak state, because your state determines your behaviour and your behaviour determines your results. So we're interested in results. Let's have a look at that chat. Okay, Karen, and you're from Queensland. Fantastic, thank you. Karen, what type of business do you have, Karen? So everyone else we've got a health and wellness business. We've got Carol, who's got CCTV, and Marta, who's an architect with us today. So we've got a very broad and varied, as we usually do. So Karen, just let us know what type of business you're in. That would be great. Okay, so your state determines your behaviour and your behaviour determines your results. So why do we care about that? Well, we care about that because if you want to have long-term results that are improving, we don't want to only tap in at the level of behaviour, because that'll give you short-term. So just imagine if you're trying to lose weight or saving money. You know, you go, oh my God, I need to lose some weight, I'm going to go on a diet. So you go on a diet, and then you get to a point where you're like, oh, my pants are like a bit loose on me. And you're like, I'm going to reward myself. And so because your brain goes, you've been so good, you can reward yourself. And then you go and have that piece of chocolate cake. And then if you do that over and over again, it's this really up and down effect. So if you take that same example with saving money, oh, I don't have enough money to go on holidays this year. I'll save. And then you get to a certain point in time and you look at yourself in your bank balance and say, that's fantastic. I've got all this money. I think I'll go and buy myself a new car, and you'll spend it again. So the behavior is it can be very short term, but if you work on your state, your mental, your physical or your emotional state, or all 3, that will give you longer term results and impact your behaviour for longer term results than if you just address your behaviour alone. So this is usually on an unconscious level. So we've got here, we're talking about an iceberg where you've got the tip of the iceberg. This is how our brains react. This is how our brains react. Thank you, Karen. You own business making handmade Belgian chocolate online through retail. Well, that's a very yummy thing to do, and I'm sure it's a great business model. So thank you for joining us. Conscious and unconscious. So our brains we operate 5% of our brain, which is up here. 95% is unconscious or subconscious. So we don't think about the blood pumping around our body. We don't think about our organs working, which just happens unconsciously and subconsciously. And a lot of our behaviour, and when we filter information for our focus, it happens unconsciously and subconsciously. So this little bit above the water here on the iceberg, the one on the top, we're really interested in freeing that up so that we're not overcrowding our reticular activating system, and that we are allowing our unconscious or subconscious to do the heavy lifting. So if we look at the concept, and we're going to link all these concepts today. So why are we interested in peak states? Unproductive states and productive states. So all three of these concepts are linking today. State management, being productive, daily planning and delegation. They're all linked, and the common thread is peak state. So let's go and have a look at that from a daily planning perspective. So we know number one, state is really important. Why is it important? Because it determines our behaviour, and our behaviour determines our results. So we don't want to just go and work on behaviour. We want to make sure we're in peak physical, mental and emotional state. And we're taking time to put ourselves in peak state. Sleep well, eat well, address our emotional issues, don't become mentally cluttered up with overloading ourselves in stressful situations. And this is where daily planning comes in. So it's a great tool to improve your state. So what is the purpose of it? It allows your brain to work in a linear flow. So everyone, can you just follow me in your seat for 1 second? I want everyone to close your eyes. Okay, put your finger in the air. I want you to point to the past. Okay, point to the past. Point to the present and point to the future. Now about 2% of you will go left to right. You'll go the past, the present and the future. And the rest of us will go front to back. It actually doesn't really matter. Okay, everyone open your eyes again. It's just an exercise to understand that your brain works in a linear flow, past, present, future. So when you do your daily planning, and this is why to-do lists don't work, because it's not in a linear fashion that your brain can absorb. You ever, work through your to-do list and cross it off, cross it off, cross it off, and your to-do list never ends. So it's better to work in a linear flow. Okay, enables you to empty your head routinely. So if we go back to the iceberg, that reticular activating system, 5%, you can imagine that's a lot of information to be jamming in, and we're underutilizing our subconscious brain. So emptying your head on a daily basis is a really, really healthy idea, and it helps you with improve your state management, your mental state. So it also stops using your brain as a memory recall tool. So every time you have to remember something, it's another layer in that 5% of conscious thinking that you're putting, that extra pressure that you're putting on your reticular activating system. So if anyone wants to Google this, you can Google neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and look up state management in NLP, or reticular activating system, RAS, not AS, as I remember it. So it's all, you can double check things or go to the library. Neuro-linguistic programming is a fantastic brain science, easy to understand, easy to digest, and easily applicable to the business world in terms of improving your productivity and improving morale in your organisation, improving your own state. So that's why we plan. Allows your brain to work in a linear fashion from past to present to future, enables you to empty your head routinely, and stops using your brain as a recall tool. So I'm going to take everyone through how to do a daily plan. So take a blank piece of paper at your desk or use your PDA or your laptop and go to a blank Word document and start at the top and put the day. So we're going to do always do your daily planning a day ahead. So the rules for daily planning are do it at the same time every day at the end of the day. So some people like to do it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I do. I like to do my daily planning in the afternoon, or you can do it just before you go to bed. Actually really doesn't matter as long as you do it before you go to sleep. So you put the time in which you wake up the next day. So 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 9 a.m., it actually doesn't matter. The time that you wake up, and then you put half hour or hour intervals right of the way through the day until you go to sleep in the evening. Now, I do have templates for this, which I'm happy to send to you. You can contact me at claire@treeti.com.au, and our 1-800 number, Jack is going to put that in the chat as well. So if you'd like any further information on today's session, you can contact me and I can send you the template so you can create a little booklet for yourself. So basically, wake up at 6 a.m, that's what you write down. You put in what the 3 times you have your meals in the day or whenever you stop to eat. You have your calendar open, you put in all the times of your calendar, and it must work in a linear fashion. So you've got a piece of paper there, it says daily planning. Tomorrow you've got what time you wake up, you popped in all your meetings. I've got to go to the dentist, I need to pick up the kids from school, I have to make their lunches, I have to write a report for work. You know, fill your day with what you have to do the following day, and that will form the basis of emptying your head. You need to do it every day for 3 weeks because it takes 3 weeks to develop a habit, and you'll notice that you'll be, some of the benefits of that is efficiency, mental power, efficiency and productivity. It'll put your physical existence for the things that you need to do. So if you've got one of those situations where things that are rolling along and they're not getting done, or you're finding that your to-do list just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it'll give you that extra shot in the arm that you're looking for. Now, when we have clients that come and pay for their daily or their leadership and management program, we put them on this program. So highly recommend you do it. You will give you a mental rehearsal for the following day. You'll notice an increase in power, increase in efficiency, increase in productivity, and schedules don't lie. Highly recommend that exercise. So we're going to link it to the next concept now. So we've covered state, we've covered daily planning. We're now going to have a look, we've covered state management. We're now going to look at effective delegation. What is coaching your people and how do we coach? So the same thing again, we're going to link back to their focus. So their map of reality or their model of the world or their perception. And we're calling it our focus in this particular, because where you focus is where you'll produce results. So your state determines your behaviour that determines your results. So let's just go back a slide, coaching your people, effective delegating. Now, if we are training our own focus and getting mastery around that, it's then natural that we do that for other people. So can someone tell me how or what is an effective way to coach your people? Who'd like to have a go? You can either call it out, take yourself off mute, or put it into the chat box. Who would like to know what's effective ways of delegating to your, well, I'm interested in what your effective ways of delegating. Jack, can you read them out for me?
Yeah. Asking them powerful questions.
Okay, great. Very good.
From Matra.
Good.
Cow leading by example.
Yep, very true. Okay, who said the powerful questions?
Marta.
Sorry. Marta. So, Marta, that's, oh, we've got one more there as well?
No,
oh, okay, great. So, Marta, that is very true, and so is leading by example. I'll just start with powerful questions. So, a way you can interact if someone's state is not great, I'll just go to this slide again. If someone's state is not great, it's all well and good if we're in a great mood and everything's going well and we're all on fire, and then what happens if something goes wrong and our mental, physical or emotional state goes out the window? There is one way to interact with your subconscious, and that is by asking quality questions. So a quality question is, if everyone can write this down on your piece of paper, write quality questions, because even if you don't get the theory behind this, or if a week's time you say, what did Claire say about quality questions again? It doesn't really matter as long as you get the top line concept, which is asking quality questions of yourself and others is a very, very powerful way to restore someone's affective state. Mental, physical, emotional state. And the quality questions are as follows: who, what, when, how, and where. Okay, so you're asking who, what, how, when, where. Basically, an easier way to remember it is why is not a quality question. So asking yourself, why did this happen? Or asking someone else, why did that happen? It is not an effective quality question. And the reason being is that why is based in the past. So we're talking about temporal. When I had you close your eyes and go past, present, future, there are no new answers no creative answers in the past. They all exist in the present and in the future. So asking why is a really great idea when you're having an audit, for example, and you're reflecting on last year's numbers. Asking why is very effective when you're reviewing the results of the past year. Asking why is really handy in financial interactions. So anything that requires you to delve into the past and document why things are a certain way, why is great. In this context of state management, why is the question that you do not ask, because there are no new answers in the past. All the solutions will lie in the future. So how can I solve this problem for myself? Where can I go to get more resources for this issue? What programs are available to me to tap into? Who can I speak with? All those are quality questions. So Marta, that's a very, very valid point that you said. Powerful questions, or we call them in NLP quality questions. Leading by example is also very good. And was that Cal?
Yes.
Asked that? Yeah, leading by example is always a great way to inspire people. And then the other one I wanted to mention is rapport. So gaining rapport with people, and that is really critical because rapport builds trust. So if you can get rapport with the people that you work with, or if you work alone, you talk about your clients, getting rapport with your clients, or getting rapport with your stakeholders, or getting rapport with your suppliers. It doesn't really matter if they're another human being. Getting rapport is the other way that it is really, really handy to, in this particular case, effective delegation or coaching your people. Training their focus through those elements of questions, leading by example, and rapport. All right, so we're going to come off mute now. I'd like everyone to type in the chat box, how do you think you can get rapport with another person? So give me an example of, with a supplier, I can use eye contact. With my staff, I can use my tone of voice, tonality. There's there are many different ways. Listen to somebody is another way you can get rapport. So there's a couple of examples, but I'd like you guys to come up with some examples, and I'll tell you if you're on the right track or not. It's very hard to be wrong in this scenario, so don't worry about being out there and asking and throwing something a little bit left field. It's all responses are welcome. So who would like to respond into the chat box or on speak into what they think is a great way to gain rapport?
So Cal's come back with practicing empathy.
Wow, you guys are educated. Empathy is spot on.
Carol said, give some positive feedback.
Okay, very good. Yep, positive feedback, empathy, yep. Anything else?
Marta, thanking.
Yeah, that's great. All those things are accurate. You guys are good. All right, so let's have a closer look at that. So I've answering that question in the 10 top tips. So let's just have a closer look at the 10 top tips for boosting productivity. Be acutely aware of your state. So that is really, really important. Time management is important. Implement daily planning is critical. Now, this is leading into that question that we were just talking about. Direct, immediate, and constructive feedback to gain rapport is very good. Love sandwiches, working communication. So can I get a show of hands? Who knows what a love sandwich is when we're talking about communication? Can we get a yes or a no in the toolbox just to see?
So Cal has said no.
Okay, great. All right, let's just run with talk through what that is. So it's where you give constructive feedback to your employees, to your suppliers, to your stakeholders, to your family. So try taking on issuing a positive, if you want to give someone some great feedback or communication, and it doesn't necessarily need to be positive, say something positive, or could just be constructive, and you may be concerned about it being not taken in the vein in which you're meaning it. So say something positive, give the feedback, and then back it up with something positive. So Jack, thank you for fixing my website this morning. It looks amazing. I really love your creativity. I probably didn't say it clearly enough, or maybe you didn't understand it clearly enough, but I actually requested that the second page, I requested that the second page be the colour purple, and I noticed that it's still blue. But if you could change that for me later today, that would be great. And once again, I can't tell you, overall, I think the website's really great. So it's a love sandwich in communication. So Jack, how did that make you feel? Did you feel intimidated, threatened? I
felt pretty good about that. So it I don't want to say a touch moved on the slide, but it didn't feel as if it was bad news. It was like, okay, it's only one little thing, and it wasn't a big deal. Overall, it's like it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. Yeah. So delivering a love sandwich in communication. So you can use it for communication that's particularly tricky, and that's exactly a great way to keep people empowered. Using empathy, I think Marta maybe said use empathy before. That's another really key way of, oh, there's another question there. Use people's names and smile a lot. How to get rapport, use people's names and smile a lot. In general, use rapport for delegation. So if you've got, because one of the key takeouts is delegation from this webinar. And then the bottom four are really, really always a part of my top 10 because it can be applied to all areas of business, all areas of leadership. And it doesn't matter what your leadership style is, it doesn't matter what your communication style is.
In the business world, ask for feedback. Do professional and personal development wherever you can. So I'll just break those two down first, and then we'll go to this last two. Asking for feedback, like there are things that you can do around professional feedback forms, and it's called 360 feedback, where you actually go and engage with everyone in your circle of influence about how you're going. And there's structured ways, and if anyone wants to email me or call me or talk to me about that, you're more than welcome to. You can do informal feedback as well, but any which way you get it, feedback is gold, because you'll get, you don't have to take it all on board, but there's always a gem in there for feedback. Do professional and personal development. So you can sit under a tree with your legs crossed. You can read a book. You can listen to music that inspires you. You can do a course. You can talk to a mentor. There's many, you can do you can sign up and do a program on the internet. You can sign up and do a course in person. There are many different ways to do personal and professional development. Do yoga, learn how to meditate. It really doesn't matter what floats your boat, just do something, because you are the one that's in the way of your own success. So it is absolutely true and valid that whenever you get stopped, it's because you've got your foot nailed to the floor. So you always need to be working on developing yourself to that next level. And it's not like there's somewhere you've got to get. There's nowhere to get. It's just the approach of doing personal and professional development gives you a sense of awareness about decisions that you make and the impact that has on other people and the impact it has on your business. So if there's something wrong, you can always guarantee that you've got your hand in the pie there somewhere, and it's not a bad thing. It's just another area of development for you. So very much recommend personal and professional development. It's probably in relation to not this subject, but just business in general, I'd say it's my number one. Stay positive is up there in the top three as well. And I don't mean, walk around with rose-coloured glasses, happy clapping. Just your general approach to life, and glass half full. It is the brain science reason for doing that is that it allows you to see opportunities, because when you're being negative constantly to yourself, you don't necessarily need to be negative with other people, but even just with yourself, your brain is so busy dealing with the negativity that you miss opportunities that are floating around in the ether. So when you're positive, your brain chemicals are more relaxed, and you will definitely see more opportunities as they come along, and it'll give you a great way to tackle problems, because if you're in business, you know there is just one challenge after the other. There's not one day you come to work and there's not a challenge, and it's the greatest thing in the world to have a job where you're solving problems all day long. It's really amazing, and I know that in small business it's really important to stay positive. Be committed to your cause. Be committed to what you're doing and pay it forward. Make sure that other people do something for someone else. Have an attitude of gratitude and pay it forward every day. All right. Yes, Jack.
So Cal put in the chat, also focus on having a growth mindset as opposed to a more fixed mindset.
Cal, were you in my workshop last, Wednesday? Did we do growth? You must have been. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Yes, growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Good work. Okay, so I'd love everyone to do a little bit more. This hasn't. Last week we had everyone chatting. This week everyone's chosen to go on online, which is awesome, right? This is the new world of interaction. So can someone please go through and tell me, well, let's go back here. I'm going to create something for you guys now around state. So tell me, what are one of the 3 ways. You can pick emotional, mental, and physical. How are you going to, quality question here, how are you going to improve your state? So I would like you to pick whether you're going to do emotional, mental or physical. So pick one and then how you're going to do that. So an example might be physical, I'm going to go walking every day this week, or mental, I'm going to do daily planning. Emotional, you could be, I'm going to go and do meditation for 5 minutes and just breathe, do my breathing exercises. So can everyone just take a minute and type into the, or speak if you wish to, into the microphone. So which area of state management you're going to tackle this week and what you intend to do about it. If everyone can do that, that'll be great. So that's exercise number 1, and then we're going to do another one, and then we're going to say goodbye for the day. Okay, who have we got there, Jack?
Karen.
Okay, great.
She said, mental, love the daily planning and brain dump.
Great. And Karen, how long are you going to do that for? A week, a month, 6 months? What's your commitment to yourself? Oh, back to Cal too. Cal, you've been doing other learning, which is awesome. The growth mindset versus fixed mindset. That's good. You've been doing your personal and professional development. Good work. So Karen, what time frame are you going to do that in? Okay, great. I love the idea of doing a more linear way and doing a brain dump. That's awesome, Cal. Thank you. So let me get some time frames around these people. What are your commitments to yourself? 3 weeks, 1 week, 1 month?
Well, these things came through. So Carol has said physical and mental, 2 yoga classes per week continuous.
Yes.
Karen Smith said 3 weeks to establish a new pattern of behaviour.
Very good.
Marta, who's just left the call. Mental, daily and weekly planner for 5 weeks.
Awesome. Great work. That's good. Okay, so the second part of homework that I'm going to get you is your daily planning. So if you haven't put in daily planning as part of your goals and your homework going out of this webinar, can you please remember, we'll just recap on your daily planning. So get a sheet of paper, one time downwrite all the time frames from the moment you wake up in half hour or 1 hour time slots, and then fill in things like eating and sleeping, when you get up in the morning, when you go to bed, when you're going to eat your meals. And it doesn't actually necessarily mean that you're going to eat at that time, for example. Really important to put in some reactive time, excuse me for coughing. Really important to put in some reactive time. So at least 2 hours a day of reactive time, because things come up. Now, this is not something that you're going to look at and say, right, oh, here's my day. Once you've written it, that's it. It's a brain dump. It's not meant to be your to-do. Like for me, I use Google Calendar. I never look at my daily plan after I write it at 5 o'clock every day. That's it. I don't look at it again until 5 o'clock the next day, because the exercise is not to follow what you've written down. The exercise is to dump everything out of your brain. Okay, great. So let's have a look. Have we got any more? Have I inspired anyone to commit to their daily planning that they have previously like, nah, I don't want to do that? And we've got, for how long? For how long is missing in your daily plan? You're going to give it a go. Remember, 3 weeks to embed a habit, 21 days. Okay, that's great. Well, guys, you've been amazing, and thank you for all your interaction. I would like to just say before we leave, what would you like to ask me before we go, if anything at all? Is there something specific about your architecture, your CCTV, your health and wellness business? Is there anything that you would like to ask me before we leave for the afternoon? Now we're just going to reshare those. Oh, there we go. Thank you. We're just going to re-share that Treeti, so you can call me on 1-800, Jack, where is that number?
1-800-595-165, and it's in the chat right now.
Great. And claire@treeti.com.au if you've got a question to ask me. Now, we've got 3 new messages here.
Yep. So Marta, he asked a question, or she asked a question. What if you don't do / act in your day as planned?
Oh, great question, Marta. It doesn't matter. And I think I might have said that one prior to us seeing your in your chat box. So it's not the exercise is a brain dumping exercise to free up your reticular activating system. The exercise is not about doing everything that you say you're going to do. Saying that, we are really clear that this works, and there's lots of studies around this type of linear thinking and lots of proven results. So if just try it and give it a go. You have to make it meaningless, empty and meaningless if you don't get the things done that you say that you're going to do, because remember, you're doing this as a brain dumping exercise to free up and to start getting more into your subconscious, start building muscle in your subconscious. So it doesn't matter if you don't get to do or act in the day as you planned. That's another conversation about being, and it's irrelevant in terms of giving you some more space in mental, physical and emotional space for creativity and productivity. Yes, it's going to improve productivity alone. Very true, very true. Thank you very much as well, everyone. Have a lovely Friday afternoon. Have a great weekend. I am leading again a couple of times this month. If you're looking in, I did 2 this week. I think there's some coming up towards the end of the month. And if you need to contact me regarding your business individually, please just give me a call. There's no, what do they call that? No strings attached. You know, just happy to have a chat to you about your business at any time. I'm really committed to supporting small business around Australia. So call me, and if I can help you, I will. And the number's there, or you can email as well. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.